Welcome to Sunday morning worship service of the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois for September 4th, 2022. I'm Pat Lichtman. I served on the North Lot Task Force. My pronouns are she and her. We are so glad you are here, whether you are present in the sanctuary this morning or watching remotely. It is so good to be together. To keep us all safe as possible, we'll remain masked, except those of us on the chancel will remove our masks to speak from the microphone. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another on our spiritual and religious journeys. Whether you are a member or friend of this congregation or have recently discovered us, we are glad that you are here with us this morning. Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. Finally, we are grateful for the help of our many Sunday volunteers, including the greeters, offering counters, song leaders, tech team, and ushers that make our services accessible and welcoming. Thank you all for being here this morning.
Excitement. We're going to have that. Good luck. Okay. We light this chalice to affirm our respect for the interdependent web of our all existence of which we are a part. Cheryl Clayton, a member of the Green Sanctuary group that is putting on the service today. We're very glad all of you are here. My pronouns are she and her. Today's flowers are in memory of John McCullum and Jean and John's 62nd wedding anniversary. John was concerned about the environment and global warming long before his death in 2012. So congratulations, Jean. The tree stood in the middle of the village. Its trunk was so large that it took 6 people holding hands to reach around it. The roots were strong and wide, and its branches spread out over the village square, offering shelter from the rain or shade from the summer sun. Its fruit was juicy, sweet, and plentiful. The people of the village loved the tree. Children played beneath it and climbed its lowest branches. Young people knew that if you whispered your dreams to the tree, they were more likely to come true. People who proclaimed their love or friendship for one another beneath its branches found their relationships to be nourishing, and elders discovered that their sweetest memories could be counted on when they were near the great tree. The tree had been witness to so much, and when the breezes blew through the leaves, one could hear echoes of generations, laughter, conversations, dreams, prayers, and songs. Animals loved the tree too. Rabbits lived in burrows under the roots, squirrels and monkeys lived in the branches, and bats and birds flew in to eat the abundant fruit. The tree seemed to buzz with life. One day, a traveling merchant arrived in the village. He rested in the shade and ate 2 pieces of delicious fruit. "This fruit is incredible," he said. "I would like to have some to sell in the next villages that I visit. Who owns this tree?" "No one owns this tree," replied a villager. "If anything, we belong to it." "Well then, if no one owns the tree, then no one will mind if I pick the fruit," said the merchant, and began to fill a basket. "I mind," said the villager, "and today I am the keeper of the tree." "What do you mean, keeper of the tree?" "We each take our turn being here with the tree. You could never own it. We are here as protectors, as sustainers." But the villager couldn't be, "That's ridiculous. The tree doesn't own you. You could just take what you need, take what you want. The tree will continue." But the villager couldn't be persuaded. "Sir, this tree isn't like that. We don't come here to take from it, even though we receive much. We are keepers of the tree because this is where we are nourished. This is where some of our most precious memories are and where our people have dreamed. This is where we remember who we want to become." "Well," said the merchant, "you may think this tree is very special, but it still doesn't need you to sit with it. That is preposterous." "Ah," replied the villager, "the tree itself may not need me, but what of others who come by? Just this morning I sat with a woman whose heart was heavy with worry. Had I not been here, she would have had to carry that weight alone. And this afternoon, a tired couple came by, and they rested with me. They said they'd been looking for a place like this. And then an elder came by, and we watched the birds in the branches together. And now you are here. You were confused about what this tree is and how to be with it. Imagine if you had arrived and not found anyone here to talk with. You might have continued thinking that everything you do is all about you. Luckily for you, my friend, I'm here to let you know that when you care for the tree of life, it becomes about so much more than just you." And the merchant sat for a while in the shade, thinking about these ideas that felt new and a little challenging. As the sun went down, he picked up his bag and headed out of town, whistling a song that he hadn't thought of in years. On his way, he shared a smile with each person he met, his heart feeling strangely light and joyful. And the people of the village, they continued to sustain the tree of life, to care for one another, and to share their gifts with grace and gratitude. May it be so for each of us. And now please rise in body and spirit and join us in singing hymn number 76, For Flowers That Bloom About Our Feet.
Apologies. Good morning. Today's story is Be a Tree. And as the title suggests, there are opportunities to be a tree today. So if you feel at any point during the story like pretending to be a tree, no touching. I'm feel like pretending to be a tree, you are welcome to come and plant yourself in the aisle or up front here. Be a tree. Stand tall. Stretch your branches to the sun. Let your roots curl, coil in the soil to ground you. Your spine is a trunk, giving you shape, holding your crown and channeling your food. Your skin is bark, dead on the outside, protecting what's within. Beneath your bark are layers, such as sapwood, carrying nutrients to help you grow bigger and taller. And heartwood, strong as bone to support you. In your heart center is your pith, keeper of nutrients when you were just a sapling. High above, your crown may be round, weeping, pyramidal, broad. Let it spread, shine overhead, collecting sun, filtering dust, shading your roots on hot days. Wave your leaves in the wind, breathe in air, drink in sun. Let them fuel you and the world. See yourself, branches and leaves above, roots below, trunk in between. You are a tree. And now, look around you. You're not alone. You are one of many trees. Our roots twine with fungi, joining all trees in the forest together. We talk, share food, store water, divide our resources, and alert each other to danger. A wood wide web of information. We purify the air, we anchor the soil to prevent erosion. Our dome of joined crowns swings and straightens, slowing high winds. Our bodies and branches and roots are homes to birds and mammals and insects. We sustain ecosystems. Immigrant trees, away from their native habitats, are vulnerable. But together, a forest of trees is strong. Mother trees nurse young trees. Old trees shade new trees. Strong trees shelter weak trees. And healthy trees help sick trees. A family, a community, a country, a cosmos, there is enough for all. So be a tree, for together we are a forest. So, kids, don't be like a tree and leave just yet. Kate has an activity for us, so if children and youth and anyone young at heart who would care to come forward, please do so.
Of the Green Sanctuary Committee. I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking about some of the things that trees do that we can't do. And I think we handed out the leaves as you came in. We'd like the children to share what they have. So we're going to have you look at it. And could you hand me the markers? Yes, thank you. So take a minute and think about, I know when I go to the forest, it's like, there's so many things about trees that just make me feel so good. So if you can think about something, we're going to have you write on the back of that what it is that makes trees so special to you. Take one. And we have people here to help if you can't write the words yourself. Here you go, son. Oh, so the slide. So go ahead and write down what you think. You might write down how you feel when you see a tree, the favorite color of a tree, maybe a favorite fruit that comes from a tree, something a tree does for you or an animal. And we've made a poster out in the hallway that we're going to hang our leaves on as we leave the service this morning. So for me, my favorite tree is an oak tree. And every time I go to the woods, there's 2 trees that I make sure that I give them a hug, and I really do it. I kind of look around and make sure, is anyone, and even if they are, it's like, okay. But they stand right next to each other, and whenever I'm having a bad day, I take my dog and I go to the forest, and I always feel better when I leave. So the feeling of peace that I get from trees, that's my favorite thing. Would anyone like to share?
So, well, I like that trees use wood to make big homes.
We want to repeat that.
You like trees that make wood? Is that what you said?
Yeah, so like you cut down trees and you wood too.
That's right. We need trees to build all of our structures that we have, and even like we have here, our altar and things. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. What does your leaf say? Ah, shelter. So yeah, shelter. How about you? Do you want to share? No? I can look at it for you if you'd like. Okay, your tree says makes oxygen, or your leaf, excuse me, says make oxygen, and you've written that it's a habitat for animals. Can you think of any particular animal that? Birds, right. Yeah, the birds are getting ready to go south for the winter, so that's a great idea. Do you want to share? Can you tell us what you have?
Food for animals. And I wrote an apple.
Good choice. He wrote, we have food for animals, and an apple tree is your favorite fruit, which is, this is the best time of year for that, right? Great. Anyone else you guys want to share?
My card says, "Who doesn't love their fall colors?" And on the back I wrote, "It's like a beautiful wardrobe in nature."
Awesome. Yeah, we're about to get treated to that. Thanks. Fall colors. Susan, anyone else?
Mine says beauty, or beautiful, and I love the variety of beautiful leaves and flowers that trees give us.
Wow, yeah, that's been definitely evident all summer, and now we're going into fall. Beauty and all the flowers, yeah. Susan, did you want to?
Mine says, leaves take in sulfur dioxide, ozone, and other pollutants. But as you said something about the dais, that reminded me, and I wonder if everybody here knows this, that when ash trees were cut down on this property to clear for this sanctuary, the wood from the ash trees is actually what's in this whole platform.
Right, so for those of you that didn't know, this platform was actually, the wood was harvested and milled and built for us in this beautiful heart that we have here. So, anyone else want to share? Okay, well, we'll be leading the children out. On the way out, we're going to put our leaves up on the poster, and we invite the rest of the congregation to do that on their way out. We've got some glue, and you can stick them on the poster. So, all right, well, hopefully you learned a little bit about the things that trees do for us, what we cannot do for ourselves.
Morning. I'm Pat Clancy. My pronouns are she, her. And I'm glad someone mentioned this floor. I was thinking of it as the children were reading their stories on the leaves. It was a big project and real exciting. So my reading is called Origin Stories Around the World, from a book, Into the Forest, by Susan Tyler Hitchcock. At the center of the world, there stands a tree. It has been growing through millennia. Its roots plunge deep into the soil. Its branches spread up and out and up to the sky. Its leaves shimmer in the sunlight. Its flowers bloom eternally. It casts seeds far and wide. Like most of its kind, this tree has lived longer than any one of us, and it will outlive every one of us. This tree stands at the mythic center of origin stories told around the world. In the Babylonian Epic of Gilgamesh, when life began, a single tree, the Hulapu, grew on the banks of the Euphrates. Norse mythology evokes the great tree Yggdrasil, whose roots and branches hold the world together. Among the ancient Maya, a sacred tree connected 3 realms. The roots reached into the underworld. The trunk embraced the world of human existence, and the branches stretched into heaven. In the Maori tradition, the great tree god Tane separated his parents, Papatuanuku and Ranganui, earth and sky, and brought light into the evening from heaven and dwelling in the pine trees. In that tradition, every tree is divine. Now, science is confirming what humans have intuited all along. The trees and the forest have wisdom to share, grace to impart, and a profound healing effect on the human body, mind, and spirit. A greener world is a better world. Time in nature feels good. Yet our modern lives veer in the other direction. Around the world, more people live in the city than in the country, and the number just keeps growing. As we shift toward urban living, we yearn for ways to dwell in nature, whether that means a weekend camp out, a hike in the woods, a stroll through the park, a mindful acknowledgement of a magnificent tree in the neighborhood, or a simple green plant nurtured in a pot on the windowsill. For millennia, a tree has flourished at the center of our universe, speaking wisdom to us. It is time to listen again.
Good morning. I'm Susan Camasta, a member of the Green Sanctuary Committee and also the previously organized North Lot Task Force. As you may know, the lot at the north end of Old Naperville Road, this way, creatively dubbed the North Lot, was donated to DUUC a few years ago by a local family. As it happened, our church actually tried to purchase the unused and overgrown parcel of land many years ago, but it was too expensive. With the generous oversight of our member Mike Nigro, a contract, along with certification by local and state governments, was finalized, with the tax-exempt land to be used for spiritual purposes. A tree service was hired to clear the lot, as most of the growth consisted of invasive species such as buckthorn and honeysuckle. Mulch was created from the downed trees and spread over the area. The spreading is to be continued, and for now, we will attempt to keep the flora under control with landscaper maintenance. A fire pit has been placed with some stonework and benches. Unfortunately, the noise from I-88 is difficult to ignore. More greenery will hopefully muffle the sound. There have been planning sessions, and these will continue. Your input is welcome. Workdays will occur in the future, and perhaps you and your family would be willing to help us in our attempt to return it to a more native place. 2 young trees have been planted since the lot clearing. I planted a graduation party elm, and Pat Clancy planted a Hobson oak. Their stories will be told later as we develop a plan for this newest church space. After the service, if you'd like to walk to the lot, I would be happy to meander with you and converse about our northernmost area.
Tree. To understand the forest, let us first get to know the tree. Earth. Trees emerge from the soil underneath, intertwining with the life it cradles. Water. Rain falls, sap rises. Trees play a part in the grand water cycle.
Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts we are given by this community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of DuPage UU Church. Giving is also how we live our values in the world. Each month, we share our offerings with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offering team. This month's organization is the Alive Center, whose teen-led, teen-driven programs empower the youth of today to become the confident, impassioned, resilient leaders of tomorrow. The morning's offering to support the work of DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church and of the Alive Center is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude.
Air. Trees breathe in, breathe out, enhancing the air with subtle fragrance. Fire. Forest fires rage and destroy. New life rises phoenix-like from the ashes. Forest. Come into the forest, refreshed, enriched, at peace with the world that surrounds you.
I am Lulu Knight, and I will be reading a poem by Mary Oliver called When I Am Among the Trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would say they almost save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment. Never hurry rue the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches. And they call again, "It's simple," they say. And you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. Now please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing hymn 1068, Rising Green.
If you have a passion for the loveliness of nature, or are inclined to engage in being a steward of it, we invite you to join us in helping maintain the landscape around our church. Or you may want to get involved with the Green Sanctuary Committee at DUUC. Speak with any of us after the service. Another invitation at the moment, after the service, we have specifically built in time for it. Let's all take a walk into the natural areas around our church. Look at the trees, or walk the prairie. Take a walk into the labyrinth, or the north lot. Pat and Kate will lead a walk in the prairie, and you can wait for them right outside the doors in Creeves Hall that lead to the prairie. I will walk and talk to the north lot, or you can guide yourself to the labyrinth. If your legs are uncovered, you may want your view to be from the outer edges. Join us in appreciation of Mother Nature's gifts, and thank you for being with us today. And don't forget to place your leaf, if you wrote on one, on the tree poster that's in the narthex. You'll see it there. Thanks much, and good morning to you all.